It's June the 9th, 2024, and we are back to do the talk with my wife. Anybody that was here last week that came on to look for the video last week, we didn't film. We had some stuff going on here at the house with our dog. We had taken our kids to go see a movie last Sunday, and when we came home, our dog was very, very ill. So we didn't film last week. We skipped, but I went ahead and went back 2 weeks ago to the video that we did. I think the title of the video was "Talk with My Wife, It's Not Your Fault," and there were really only 2 questions on there, but those 2 questions were really good ones, and I figured that those 2 questions, we could really elaborate on that and kind of go deep into those 2 subjects. Anyway, before we hop into today's video, yesterday afternoon we went to a friend of ours' house for a barbecue, and when we were on the way back home, we were pulling into our driveway, and there was a little teeny baby deer that I got some footage of.
A perfect baby deer.
Yeah, and it's
so perfect.
Like it looks just like Bambi.
It does.
I've
never seen a more beautiful baby, just perfect.
Yeah, and we were coming down the driveway, and it was just standing there on the side of the driveway. Obviously, it had gotten separated from his mom, but it just stood there for quite a while, and it took me a minute to get my phone out because I had it, I carry around this little bag with me all the time, and I keep my medications and my insulin pens and glucose tablets and glucose shots and all kinds of stuff in there. I just keep it with me wherever I go. But I had my phone inside of that pack, and it took me a minute to fish my phone out and get it open, and then, get the camera set up, get it on video mode. The deer just stood there for quite some time. But anyway, it looks just like Bambi. And I'm going to throw that right at the end of this video today. And also this morning when I woke up, I walked outside for a second, and there were 2 deer. I didn't even tell you about this, but they were right out here walking around right there up that hill.
It's getting pretty calm.
Yeah, they're all over the place right now. The rabbits are all over the place. We see rabbits around here every single day. I probably see 20 rabbits a day just running around. And this morning they were out, I guess, just eating on little stuff that was out here. And there was obviously a buck. I didn't see him, but he was snorting at me in the woods. You probably can hear it on the video, but I didn't get any footage of him. I tried walking up because they just stood there and looked at me for quite some time. I probably got about a minute's worth of video of them, and it was a mom and her baby, and they were walking up the hill, and then they finally took off running, and then I heard the buck still down there huffing at me, but I did not get footage of him. He was down in there somewhere hiding behind some bushes. But
they've gotten to where in the back they just come up to the horse pen.
Yeah,
they're getting so used to it. Even when the dogs bark, they're like, whatever.
Yeah, they come up. They're always around the property somewhere or another.
They've gotten really comfy.
Yeah, they just kind of walk right up and just look at us. They're not even afraid of us.
We didn't see any when we first moved here.
No, we didn't see any deer.
Saw rabbits all the time.
Yeah, but now they're the deer. We obviously have a couple family of deer that are living out here, and they just hang out. And but we don't.
They nibble on your plants too.
They do nibble on the plants. We don't harm them at all, and I don't hunt.
It's all eating around the bottom.
Which plant?
That plant right there is all eating around the bottom.
Yeah. Obviously, they're eating off of that. They're eating off of the plants that I have out here.
It's a bee, I think so.
But anyway, so I'm gonna attach those 2 videos into today's video. But the 2 questions that we had from 2 weeks ago. One of them was, if I hadn't have gotten ill, would I have stopped drinking? And the other question was, could we talk about when I used to hide alcohol and basically secretly purchasing alcohol, and what that was like for us. But I guess I'll go ahead and go into the first question. Do I think I would have quit if I had not have gotten sick? And I guess the short answer to that is probably not. I had tried to stop drinking so many times. We talked about it on here, but realistically, at least 100 times.
Well, there's no way to know.
I mean, there's no way to know, but realistically...
But, yeah, I don't think you would have quit drinking.
No.
I mean, that's my opinion, too. I think you would have just kept on trucking as long as everybody will let you keep on trucking.
Yeah. Now, would have everything have fallen apart eventually? I absolutely think so.
That was just a matter of time.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was, really at the end of her ropes for me at that point. I mean, I think that if I hadn't have gotten sick and stopped, she probably would end up leaving me at some point. And not too much further after that. I mean, my drinking had just gotten so out of control.
So bad. And a lot of people don't realize this, like, when you're a very functional alcoholic, like, you have a 9-to-5 job or whatever, and you drink, but you go to work, and then you come home, and there's still this, like, kind of schedule that's being kept. I don't think people notice it's as bad as it is.
Yeah.
But when you got really bad, it was like COVID had happened, your schedule had changed. So it was like much worse at the house because you were here. Your schedule, you weren't keeping up that normal schedule. You weren't going to work from this time to this time.
Yeah.
All these things changed, which made it just much more in your face. And I'm sure gave you the ability to drink more.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to keep up with you weren't held accountable for not being at work at this time or doing this at this time.
No, when COVID happened is when my drinking, like, really, I mean, it was already bad before COVID happened, but
it really spiraled.
When COVID happened, it completely spiraled out of control, and I was still a chef during that period of time, and I was working at a private dining club during that period of time. I was a chef at a private dining place, and we shut the doors. We were doing basically just to go. We were selling groceries out of there. So my job basically consisted, I had to basically lay off my whole entire kitchen staff. I think I kept 2 people or something like that, and it was just us. And I could go in whenever I wanted to in the mornings, basically, because we didn't start selling groceries and doing to-go stuff until like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I had a couple guys that were there in the morning, doing stuff for me. My job basically consisted of ordering food, making sure, checking in the trucks, making sure that everything came in, because I was ordering a lot of product during that period of time, because a lot of people were placing grocery orders through us. And we were basically just bagging up food and taking it out to people's cars, what we were doing.
Which you only did certain days of the week. So
yeah,
so you were home more than you usually were.
It was not like we were open for dinner service and all that kind of stuff. Now, we did do some to-go for dinner, but we were out of there every night. I was getting off at 6, 7 o'clock. I would go in at 11 in the morning, and I was out of there by 6, 7 o'clock every day, which was not my normal schedule. Before COVID, I would go in at 7, 6, 7 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock more, and I wouldn't get home until 11, 12 o'clock at night. So I was kind of trapped at work. I could not,
There was just only so much availability.
Yeah, I only had
so
much time that I could drink.
And you had to stay functional.
And I had to stay functional. And I would still come home and get really intoxicated at night.
But I was asleep.
Yeah, but she would be asleep.
Because I was going to work
I would wake up the next morning, and I'd be hungover. But I would still go to work. I mean, I was a really functioning alcoholic during that period of time. But I would say that I turned into kind of a non-functioning alcoholic there towards the end, because it was really affecting, my life in general. And
just a day-to-day.
Yeah, and during COVID is when I had turned in my notice at my job and decided that I wanted to start my own business. And, after I left my job, I took some time off after that. And then, during that period of time that I took off, my whole goal, one of the biggest reasons that I left my job is that I was so stressed out that,
You said you were going to quit drinking.
I said I was going to stop drinking.
Yep.
I said, let me leave this job.
And that'll fix everything.
That'll fix everything. And I've talked about this, running away from things, and I can say from my own experience, doesn't solve any problems at all. Running away from that problem's still there. And I just was naive. I didn't know. And I thought that was going to solve my problems. And that wasn't the first time I've ever done that before either.
No,
I left another job
and said that was
years
the problem.
before, try to get out of the restaurant industry, and thought, I'm going to run away from this problem, and it's going to solve everything, and I'm going to stop drinking, and I'm going to turn my whole life around. And it's not what happened. If anything, my drinking got worse after I did that, and I just kept drinking more and more. And then, like I said, as time progressed, COVID happened, and my drinking just really started getting bad because I didn't have to be at work all day long anymore. And I guess one of the things too is that I started getting really negative during that period of time.
You did, yes. The drinking has always been a problem, but it wasn't like a daily problem. There were only extremities to where it would come up as an issue.
I drank every day,
yes.
but I wouldn't get like super negative and like, just get, mean or anything like that. And then I don't know what happened, but during COVID, and the thing is, everybody was stressed out during that period of time. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if the world was completely shut down forever or what. And I just think everybody was really stressed out. I mean, a lot of people started drinking really heavy during that period of time. And I know my drinking just really started getting very, very, very bad. And I started getting really, really negative. I just felt like everything was kind of caving in on me. I didn't know. We had just purchased our new house. We had 2 mortgages during the period of time. I think I was just really stressed. And I was coping with alcohol, and if anything, alcohol was making everything 10 times worse. It was putting a lot of strain on our marriage. It was putting a lot of strain on my relationship with my children. It was putting a lot of strain on my job. And there's no way they didn't know that I was coming to work and I, was intoxicated. I would try to cover up, the smell on my breath, but there's just no way they didn't know that I was drinking before I came to work. And the way that I acted too was completely different, when I would drink. I mean,
I wasn't with you at work. So.
Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm not the loudest person in the world. I'm just pretty quiet, and I would go to work in the morning and start getting loud and obnoxious and stuff like that. And I'm sure that they had to know. I mean, there's just no way that they didn't.
But I think it was going to take something big for you to stop.
Yeah, and it did. And it took. I left my job, started my business, and I guess it was about a year and a half later. It was a year and a half later after I had gotten sick. And like I said, I started doing my own business. I was getting off whenever I wanted to, and if it was a morning I was really hungover, I'd get up, make myself a drink or two, and then I'd go, I don't feel like working today. And I would
too much freedom.
It was too much freedom. For me as an alcoholic, now that's not a problem.
Well, now it's not a problem because you have the control.
Yeah.
You didn't have the control then. So if you don't have the control, then it's ruling what you do every day.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there were so many mornings where I'd just be like, I don't feel good today. I can't make it. I'll have to be there tomorrow. And I would just sit around the house and just get completely sloshed. And, she'd come home, and I'd already been passed out since 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And, it was creating a lot of problems, and I do not think I would have ever have stopped if I hadn't gotten sick, or unless something else tragic happened. Either I, got into a car accident or got arrested for drunk driving or something like that. I just, something really bad had to happen. I've always been the type of person where I've had to learn the hard way, and
you're very hard-headed.
Yeah, and I think this is another one of those instances. I had to learn the hard way, but to the other question about hiding the booze and purchasing alcohol and stuff like that, I've talked about it on here that I didn't use. We've always had a joint account, and I had my own personal account as well. That I would have money in, and that was my money to get gas with or whatever I needed to. But I didn't. I had a little bit of a budget. And that's the way we had it set up, because I would blow all of our money on alcohol. And she could still see what I would purchase, through any of my accounts. So trying to buy alcohol was always some kind of scheme or scam. And
well, you've never put us in a position where we couldn't pay our bills.
No, I never put us in a position where we couldn't pay our bills.
There's a bee on your neck. Just so you know, don't swat it. Okay, that's gone.
Yeah, I never did that.
No, it was never like that.
But I would just blow a lot of money on alcohol.
We probably both made decent money for a long time, so it gave us the ability for you to do that and still be in an okay position to where our bills were getting paid and stuff. But you used to, I remember, I think you talked about it on one of our talks where you used to get alcohol from the club and then they take it out of your check.
Yep.
So that was one way you get. Another thing you do, I think that you used to like. They used to do something else with your check sometimes. I don't know if it was like, hey, I'm getting cash and they deduct that. No? Maybe it was just that one.
No,
then.
That's all I did. I would just get, and I got a lot of liquor from the club that I worked at. You know, there were so many days I'd just say, hey, grab me a bottle and bring it back into the kitchen and, you know, add it to the books. And, you know, I would get my check. You know, I got paid weekly. And, you know, there'd be a couple $100 gone off my check because I had bought liquor all that week. But I did a lot of other things, too. You know, I would count change. You know, I can't tell you how many times I went to the liquor store with quarters or dimes. And, I mean, I would go in there with whatever. I mean, my addiction was my addiction. And I was going to get my bottle no matter what.
Now that's when I really started getting upset about the finances, is when it would come out of your check.
Yeah.
Like, because before, like you said, we had it set up. So we both got paid, and then I would like put so much money into your account for like your spending money. But then it started getting short. And I remember when you started your own business, you had cash.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what you brought home that day.
Yeah. But back to my point about using the change, you know, I would go into a liquor store. I remember one time going to a liquor store and they told me, we don't accept change here anymore. And I was like, what? I was so embarrassed. Yeah. They told me to leave. Like, we're not taking that. I was so upset. I didn't go back to that liquor store for a very long time because of that too. But that brings up another point as well, and I'm sure there's a lot of people on this channel that can relate to this. I didn't go to the same liquor store every single day because I was embarrassed. So I had a rotation of liquor stores that I would go to.
Right there tells you there's an issue.
Yeah, so
you knew it.
Oh, I knew. I was embarrassed.
You were so embarrassed to go
I was
back
so
to the
embarrassed
same.
because I'm going in there and buying a half gallon of vodka every day or every other day. I mean, seriously. So there was, you know, one liquor store was close to our house that I would go to. Then there was, I would drive to a liquor store that was completely out of the way. That was in my rotation. So I had like one here and then there was another one here, and I would hit these different liquor stores in rotation. So it looked like I was just coming once a week because I would visit each one of those liquor stores once a week. You know, and they're in there thinking, oh, this guy's drinking a half gallon of vodka a week or something. Not, you know, not drinking one every day or every other day, because there were days I drank the whole bottle in a day or close to it.
I never knew you purposely went to different places.
Oh, I went to different places. I was embarrassed. I mean, this isn't something that, you know, it doesn't put you in the best light when you're walking into a liquor store every day buying a half gallon of vodka. And,
I remember for a while there's like a liquor store attached to a gas station over there.
Yeah.
And you used to be like, no, that's the gas station, because it would like come up as the same thing.
Yeah.
And then one day I realized the red dot was attached to the same store. I'm sure they had different doors, but it was like the same store.
Yeah, here in South Carolina, you have to go to an ABC package store to buy liquor. You cannot buy liquor at any other. It's a state-run, well, they're not state-run per se, but they are state-regulated. And you have to go into those ABC stores to purchase liquor. And that's all
they sell?
That's all they sell.
They don't even sell beer?
No, they do sell beer.
Do they?
Yeah, but it's in a separate section.
Okay.
Like there's that one big liquor store.
Yeah, I know that one, but I thought it's because it was in separate doors that
they do.
Could sell
they have
beer.
Separate doors.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they can sell wine in the same area.
They can do wine, yeah. But this one in particular was like the same name as the gas station. It was. So he would be like, I just had to run the gas station. I'd be like, you went there like 3 times.
That's how conniving that we get, and we get so deep into our addiction that we start figuring out these little things. So there was a liquor store that was in the same building as the gas station. So they had the gas station part, and then in the same building, but a different room, in the same little strip mall kind of a thing that they had, there was a liquor store attached to it.
Yeah, like
owned by the same people.
Yeah, come up as like the same charge.
So if you would go to if you went to that gas station and purchased gas, it came up as whatever the place was called. If you went into the liquor store, it came up as the same place. So I would go to that exact place, and that place I could use our card because I could just say, I'm getting gas. And something that I often would do, and I actually talked about this with Slayer Sober because he said that he did the same thing with his girlfriend. I would go into a gas station, and let's say I was trying to buy beer and I didn't want her to know about it. I would go into the gas station and, you know, I'd get a 6-pack or a 12-pack.
Oh, and you get cash back.
No.
Oh,
I would get
that was another thing, though.
I've done that before too, but I would get like a 6-pack of beer, And then I would do the math in my head. So I'd go up to the counter, they'd ring it up, and let's say it was $12.50. And so I would get, $27.50 worth of gas.
So you made it look like an even.
So I made it look like an even.
Like you went and got $40 in gas.
Yeah, $40 in gas. And then it was just $40. Not knowing that I'd, purchased this on top of getting that. But I also did what she was saying too.
You go to like Publix or Target and get cash back.
I go to the grocery store and buy a gallon of milk. She said, "Can you stop by the grocery store and get some milk on the way home or something?" And I'd be like, "Oh, absolutely, I'll stop." I used to love when she would ask me to stop by the store on the way home, because that meant that I could go to the register, and when I would ring my stuff up, they always have that cash back button, and I could cash back $20, $30, whatever it is, and get the cash and then go to the liquor store, and there wouldn't be any paper trail behind me. I don't know why this bee is all around me.
Just don't want to sting you when you swallow it.
Yeah. But just all the little tricks and things that I would do in order to purchase alcohol so that she wouldn't know about it. And then on top of it, I would have a bottle in the back of my car, up underneath the tire or the seat, and then I would have bottles stashed all over the place. There'd be one in the woods, there'd be one in the closet. I just had stuff everywhere.
And as the spouse, looking back on it, I realized my behavior became just as toxic, because I would become addicted to checking to see what you spent your money on.
Yeah.
Or to come home and see if I could find where you hid a bottle or something like that. And it's like, here's your sign.
Yeah.
What do you, when you get to that point as a spouse, it's kind of time to, probably make a judgment call there.
Well, the thing is too, there was
But you don't realize how it leads up to that. All of a sudden you're there one day.
There were so many days where, I would come home, pass out, thought I'd hid my bottle well, and then wake up and the empty bottle be sitting on the kitchen counter and empty. And I would wake up and be furious because she had poured out my liquor. And the first thing I would say is, "You're just wasting money."
And I would say you already wasted money when you bought it.
And then all I would do is just go right back to the store and get another bottle. And, not right that moment.
No, you
because,
didn't.
I didn't want to drive anywhere because I was intoxicated. But then I would have to sit there and go through withdrawal because I didn't have anything else. Because you guys know as well as I do, if you pass out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, sleep till 8 o'clock at night, the first thing you're going to do is not get up and get yourself a glass of water. Or at least I wouldn't. The first thing I'm going to do is get up and make myself a drink so I could make the shakes go away. Because I would wake up with, going through withdrawal. Because I hadn't drank in a few hours, and it would be horrible. And especially the next morning. It had gotten to the point where, especially the morning. I drank every single morning. That was the only way I could get the shakes to go away. The only way I could even feel halfway decent enough to even function.
I think I was usually already gone in the morning.
Yeah, you
Kids
were.
had to be at school at 7.
You were. But there were so many mornings, where I would close the bedroom door, like on a Saturday or Sunday morning if I was home. And I would go in, or you would be home on a Saturday, Sunday. I had to go to work, but I would close the bedroom door, and I'd be in there putting ice in my cup, trying to be as quiet as I could. And then, I'd go downstairs and, drink.
He'd go out the side door, wherever he hid the bottle, out in the pine straw somewhere.
And then she would come, she'd wake up and say, "I heard you in there putting your ice in your cup." And she knew what I was in there doing.
Yeah, he doesn't drink iced coffee.
No. Or, I would go, I wasn't even drinking coffee during that period of time
No,
because I was just drinking all the time, and the coffee made me nauseous. I didn't want to drink anything hot when I was all hungover like that, and especially, just coffee just sounded gross those mornings. I just wanted a drink just to make the shakes go away, but, just so many things that, conniving and hiding and lying and just doing, especially like the change thing, going through all my vehicles and couch cushions.
Oh yeah, he'd take change from everywhere.
Yeah, I would get change from everywhere so that I could make a purchase. I would go through every single couch cushion underneath all the couches just looking for stuff because I didn't want to get caught. And I just didn't want to have that argument. But if it came down to it, and I had no other option, I didn't care.
No, you just go by and deal with the.
I would just go by it and just deal with the fight later on. I mean, at that point, it was I had to get my fix. You know, it was what it was. But anyway, guys, we're at 25 minutes now, and I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here. I do want to add those 2 little clips of those videos I was talking about at the beginning of the video today at the end, and I don't want to make this any longer than 30 minutes. So
you can probably show them the pigs one day next week too. Have you shown them the baby pigs?
No, I haven't told them about that.
We had an accident.
Yeah, that last week.
It wasn't an accident. We knew it was coming eventually.
She had piglets. We have 5 baby pigs right now, which was not supposed to happen.
They're so cute.
Yesterday, the male pig tried to bust through our chain link fence in our backyard. I mean, he was pushing through it like whatever.
He lifted up the dog kennel the other day. He can take his nose and lift up the whole side of the dog kennel.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's amazing how strong they are with their noses.
I was in the kitchen. I looked out the back window, and he was
lifting up
the whole chain link fence from the bottom to push his way into the backyard because my son was out there with her, helping her take care of the animals.
And he saw him walk into the backyard.
He saw him walking into the backyard, so he's like, oh, that's where the food is. And he just started pushing the fence down like a tank. I went out there, I was like, get the heck out of here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. And please add your questions for next week. We'll be back next Sunday. Please add your questions in today's video in the comments for next week, and we'll be back next Sunday.
It'll be Father's Day, so.
It'll be Father's Day?
Next Sunday, yeah.
It doesn't
matter. No, I was just saying.
So next week will be the Father's Day
edition
of the Talk with My Wife. So any questions you guys have, just add them to that today's video in the comments, and we'll go back next week, read those, and make a video for next Sunday. So, guys, I hope you had a wonderful weekend this weekend, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see y'all in tomorrow's video. Love y'all so much.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, guys. Bye-bye.
Get the best picture.
Little baby deer.
With big old ears.
I want it.
I think it's Susie's mama.
Oh, okay, let's leave. So if they need to.
Currently 7 a.m. right now. I just walked out here and these guys were just here walking around like whatever. It's a young one over there on the left. Right by my swimming pool right here. Now they're scared.